Welcome to Record Pick Gaming, brought to you by Oz Bitch! Hi, people. Thank you, everyone. What the fuck was that? Thank you for all the reviews
get
and
to it.
lots
Hold
of
on.
flames. Go! Also,
Wait.
thanks to Surpriese, who this chapter is dedicated to. This sea will be long, so rur. Also, I learned some tricks from a poetry conference I went to in Skal, so I spice things up with words.
What?
Okay. Chapter 5, The Dark Surpriese. Foreezy. Snoop Dizzy.
Time.
this fucking... This, Snoop Dogg, okay. Time. 3 weeks had passed since the cholera conspiracy. As for Samus, it was just the beginning.
We barely started and you're already dying.
Dark lights had confused her soul, and it was a burden that she could not comprehend. She sat in her bed, grasping the straws that had come loose, straws that poising the water of life. Lightness, darkness. Samus could not understand how shitty the story is. Samus could not understand the feelings that gripped her apart over the 3 weeks. Forces were turning her away, but it was a force that could not be explained with the words. Grip was squeezing her like a lemon, the real kind. It was like a dream.
There's a fake kind of lemon.
Only this time, it was for real. Fake. Real. I can't do it! It sat, acting like a chainsaw, and she could not go back to Ridley. Not now. Not like the last part. She knew she was still loved, but there was something that was impossible to ever go back. Temporary. Longevity. All of a sudden, Samus screamed. She was losing control over her conscience, but there was a new force rising. It was like Samus, only it was Dark Samus instead. She could barely fight to take over her actions, and she was becoming wired. It was impossible to know what would happen next until it happened. This was her cholera. She knew it could not contain confession. Obsession.
Oh no, let's take a
There
break.
was a crisis,
I'm calling it quits already.
and he was meeting at his house. There was also Ted, Robbie, Tiawan, and Smiley. Smiley! The tension was emergency, and it was about to implode. Okay, wait, before... Pause for a moment. A little pause like that. Bloop.
Who names their kid Smiley?
How the fuck... Okay, we haven't done this for a few weeks, a month, whatever, but this has gone from it's so bad to being funny good to this is so bad it's pretentious hipster bullshit, almost. Like, what the fuck?
This is terrible. We've barely started chapter 5 and you're already dying from laughter.
It's awful! Okay, here you go.
Samus could not understand her fellings. What? Anyway. What am I going to do?
Detonated Ridley.
Dude, calm down. It's all cool.
Smiley! Smiley conformed!
I'm not so sure that's a great assuage.
Ted confusedly used vocabulary that not everyone knew or could
Yeah, I'm
spell
gonna
right.
admit I don't know if I pronounced that right, or if it's even spelled right. Okay, everyone, we need not to panic. We need to think of a solution.
Tier 1 dictated. Everyone was quiet and they all thought about the problem. It was quiet conundrum. There was not a salutoin hat everyone could think of.
What?
Samus was not forgiving, and especially she was acting strange, like she was becoming dark. Really did not like to think about this, and he didn't. Okay. Little did he know that this was much more to think than he thought.
Funny though. If I was you, I'd apologize to the girl and say I'm sorry.
Smiley permitted cool. People agreed with this, but Ridley was not so cleverly amused himself.
But when would I do that?
Ridley contended.
Tomorrow.
Everyone and the dog consented,
Yeah,
and
sorry
it
about
agreed.
that.
But little did the meeting know that there was a new darkness on the horizon. Horizon.
Horizon.
It was a day at Metroid High School, and things were bright and sunny. It was like the day that Ridley asked out Samus, but it was not that day ago. Ridley was about to apologize, but something was strange. There was a crowd, and Ridley, I can't forgive me. really, really wanted to see what the commotion was. It turned out there was a new kid, and he wore a black cloak with some chains, and he had blue. He had blue hair that was natural, that he didn't dye. Rest in peace. When he walked, he was hot, angsty, and he had a bad. He had a badass! You see it right there, dude. Fucking screen cap this. Put it in the video. Badass, right there.
He had
Zoom in on
a
that
bad
shit.
ass. Give me a moment to boop. Got it.
When someone asked him what his name was, and he said it was Cervantes. What is that? Cervantes, maybe. Cervantes! Cervantes! You go. I can't believe that.
Cervantes.
Ridley engraved in stone with the fuck? It was a name he never knew, but he would never forget. You see, there was a problem that was right around the corner, and Ridley could not bargain for the future. Samus was on a chair being angsty, and Cervantes thought that she was her type. Oh, it's a girl. Okay.
Oh, jeez. Wait,
He
what?
This story's progressive. Wow. He sat down next to her and began to woo her with his color. What?
Wait. It's the hair that he didn't dye. What? Whatever. Hello.
Cervantes began. Well, by the way, that's a little too cool for this guy.
That I just made it really deep and stupid sounding.
You gotta give it a little bit more of a down thing to it. Like get a little
No.
flair. Okay.
How did
Cervantes began.
whatever? Ha.
Return needed Samus.
Just don't want to do this. You look very beautiful and you're angsty.
Is he Wilford Brimley? Is he Wilford fucking Brimley?
I'll see you around.
Does he have diabetes?
Excuse me as I take this insulin shot.
Cervantes related.
I said it already. Go.
You said I'll see you.
Yeah, I did.
Samus was amazed by this man. He thought he was beautiful, and they just met. Okay. But
Oh
was
my
angsty
God.
good? No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes! Samus was battling herself, and she almost missed the boat. She would not think about doing this later, but not later as she this. Brain bad, things good.
Excuse me as I hit myself with this hammer.
There was another battle. Samus against Dark Samus. Cholera against Samus. It was a battle that could not be broken, and no sire ingredient could explain the situation. It was too late. Too late. Too late. After school, Samus was confronted by Ridley, who was anticipated. The day had been very long, and he was ready to make up for the problems he had created. What was Samus?
I'm sorry.
Real Die apologized to little effect.
It's too late for love.
Samus deflated his balloon.
balloon?
Ridley was out of his mind.
But what are you two talking about?
He disillusioned.
Relay, I'm Cervantes' girlfriend now.
Samus shocked the populace. Time stood still, but kept going for Ridley.
What?
This, much like the story, was impossible to comprehend. What the hell?
Seriously. But Samus, what about...
But Ridley was cut off because Cervantes came out of the door and dared with Debon.
What?
What the actual fuck?
This is so bad. I don't know if I should laugh or, take a hammer to my head.
I'm doing both. Nah.
Goodbye.
Samus ultimated, and Ridley was left alone in the cold. Too old, too cold. What?
Man, that was pretty cold.
Samus fought with Dark Samus like a donkey for control. She could not believe she dumped her boyfriend, but it was too late. Or
Dark Samus, you suck.
not. Bad mouth, sassy Samus.
I don't know what voice to use for this.
Do a mix
Do a mix of what?
of LSP and like of like derpy badass dude with the butt that's bad.
Hi, little girl. The Colorado will soon devour you, and I will control your body.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in the body of Dark Samus snapped back. Samus snarled at her opponent and continued the battle that would determine. Oh, okay. Cervantes and Samus went to many places that were cool, like Hot Topic, and other places that the angsty cool people chill. They ate some things, but the date was over pretty quick than it had started. Samus remembered her first date with Ridley, but Dark Samus was in control and there was no stopping the lust.
Let's go to my house.
Cervantes proposed. Your dog don't like this shit either.
I know, I'm gonna mute
Samus
it
was
when
wary
I'm
of
not
this
talking.
request, but she was overcome with passion and was battled by the cholera, her good judgment. There was little to do now. Just hope.
Just stop.
At Ridley's house, Ridley was depressed. He had screwed up his relationship. Now he was listening to depressing music. He was afraid that he might become emo, and it was likely. More likely than he could think. Oh no.
Big
He
fucking
also
dragon gone emo.
was thinking about darker things, but it wasn't true. No, it was. No, it wasn't. This was Ridley's battle, and he had things to overcome as well, if he could.
Oh my god, just
Oh no, this is the worst part. Everybody listening, fucking mute the headset or speakers. This is gonna get bad because Samus was naked and passionate, just like that long ago. But it was different because it wasn't Ridley. It was Cervantes. She was exploding in lust. But why am I doing this? But she kept feeling that it was wrong. But Dark Samus was in control. There was little she could do. This day had been a mind blow, and it was only going to get worse from here, she knew. As Samus fell asleep in what the not safe for work or life. Murky thoughts clouded her mind. Dark. Right. Ridley. This chapter was dark but good. Said nobody ever. I have another on the way, so don't worry, and R if you please. Thanks to everyone whose name I use. And if you want your name used, just tell me. Hope you like.
I think people ask for their names in this because they're just trolling.